The news that Noam Chomsky hung out with the late Jeffrey Epstein has really sent many people for quite a loop. Chomsky was asked about this and said, "None of your business," when the Wall Street Journal inquired about it, which is striking at least some people in my audience as a very strange response. It's The entire thing is not incredibly newsworthy, but I think what is setting some people off is what they perceive to be a really like the worst possible response from Noam Chomsky. Now, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, who is now deceased, now understood to be an extraordinary predator involving young girls, and the details are so beyond the scope of what I can sort of illuminate here. But this has been an ongoing story for a very, very long time. And he is an extraordinarily horrifying predator. And so every time it turns out someone met with him, this happened to Bill Gates, Trump and Clinton knew Epstein. It always sort of generates a little bit of a story. But Alan Dershowitz is another one who visited Jeffrey Epstein's private island, I believe it was. But Chomsky is surprising some. So there's a Business Insider story. Renowned academic Noam Chomsky told the Wall Street Journal that his meetings with Jeffrey Epstein are, quote, none of your business, none of your business. The Wall Street Journal reports that Chomsky held multiple meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. Chomsky's meetings with Epstein took place long after the disgraced financier had registered as a sex offender. So the idea of this was long before anybody knew anything, not valid. It was known. When the Journal asked Chomsky about the meetings, the linguist had some choice words. And the article it's a short article. Let's look at it because it's interestingly written. When asked about their connections with Jeffrey Epstein, many business leaders and bureaucrats offered tight-lipped regrets and apologies, not Noam Chomsky. The Wall Street Journal, in an exclusive published Sunday, said it obtained Epstein's private calendar. It outlined numerous meetings with high-profile people, including Chomsky, the famed academic and political activist. When the Journal reached out to Chomsky, he had choice words. Quote, "First response is that it is none of your business or anyone's. Second is that I knew him and we met occasionally," Chomsky, 94, told the Journal in an email. Epstein, the disgraced financier, accused of sex trafficking underage girls, died by suicide in 2019 in a Manhattan jail as he awaited trial. In addition to Chomsky, the Journal noted meetings with a current CIA director, William Burns, as well as Catherine Remler, a top lawyer at Goldman Sachs and former White House counsel under Obama. Epstein's meetings with Chomsky appear to have taken place in 2015 and 16. Epstein was first charged with procuring minors for prostitution and registered as a sex offender in 2008. In March of 2015, Epstein scheduled meetings with Chomsky and a Harvard University professor. Chomsky confirmed that there were several meetings where they discussed various topics. The Journal reported that months later, Epstein scheduled a flight with Chomsky and his wife for a planned dinner with movie director Woody Allen and his wife, Soon-Yi Previn, who is also the adopted daughter of his ex-partner, Mia Farrow. Chomsky said, and this one is a little weird, if there was a flight, which I doubt, it would have been from Boston to New York, 30 minutes. See, I would remember whether I flew with Jeffrey Epstein. That's strange. But he says, I'm unaware of the principle that requires that I inform you about an evening spent with a great artist. Chomsky said what was known about Epstein was he had been convicted of a crime and had served a sentence according to U.S. laws and norms that yields a clean slate. So listen, I agree that the responses are a little bit odd. I also have no reason whatsoever to believe that Chomsky did anything inappropriate as it relates to the things that Epstein was accused and previously convicted of. On the one hand, it would be really easy for Chomsky to say, listen, Epstein contacted me to do seminars for rich people because they were interested in hearing my perspective. The thing is, if that's not true, why would Chomsky make that up and lie if that's not actually what took place? And so I understand that Chomsky is responding in what is sort of, you could say it's a strange response, but it also doesn't really suggest to me that Chomsky did anything wrong. I don't know that there's too much more to say about it. And quite frankly, it's not ultra surprising to me. And listen, if you had said, hey, David, knowing that Epstein met with Clinton, Trump, and Dershowitz, who else would you guess he might have hung out with? My mind doesn't immediately go to Chomsky, but I do think it's important to just kind of generally consider and understand that it ends up being a small world in a lot of ways. And so when you say Chomsky knew Epstein, it's not like a mind-blowing shock to me at the same time. If there's any evidence at any point that comes forward that Chomsky did anything wrong, we'll discuss it. At this point, there is not.